through and trained them and gave them all the key information that they need to be able to stand before you today. So Mr. Team Gerald, thank you very much, and the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Gerald Otim. I'm a coach on youth entrepreneurship, and I represent an organization called Educate that are partners in Miss Geek, in organizing Miss Geek this year. But most importantly, I'm a tech entrepreneur myself. I feel very privileged to have spent the last 4 days coaching the Miss Geek finalists for this year. The past 4 days have been intense, but fun. I worked with the girls to refine their business ideas, to make sure that they are market fit, investable, and that they also address the needs of the communities, or they are fit to the problem statement of this year's Miss Geek. And I must say that in the past 5 years that I've worked with youth in so many other African countries, I have never met girls as brilliant as this. In those 4 days, the girls and I used to meet at 10 a.m. We would leave at 5. Sometimes it would extend to about 5:30. And I would task them to pitch their ideas and would give feedback. We also worked on their business model canvas to really fully understand their business model. Does every part fit? Can you be able to position this idea in the market and make some money out of it? Can you be able to market and sell your idea to a potential customer or investor? We also worked on their pitching skills to make sure that they're ready to communicate or present the ideas today. And what you'll see here today is an outcome of hard work, dedication, and commitment from all the girls, but also from Girls for ICT. And I must thank Girls for ICT for giving me this opportunity to have been coach in this year's Miss Geek. So thank you very much. And as I step out of the stage, may you please join me in welcoming the first presenter of this year's Miss Geek, Stella Ituze from Gashora Girls Academy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Coach. My names are Stella Ituze, and I welcome you all. Now, in the next 5 minutes, I will introduce you to a new revolutionized way for students in Rwanda to access academic information. But before I go any further, allow me to share with you the story of the source of my inspiration. Now, as presented on the slides please. Thank you very much. Now, this is a case scenario of 2 schools. One is Gashora Girls Academy, another one is Diro Secondary School. Now, I may be one of the few privileged students to go to Gashora Girls Academy because I get access to a fully equipped science lab, a fully equipped library, and also a computer lab that functions well, and teachers that do not have to struggle with their language of instruction. Now, I want you to think about my friend Claudine, who goes to Diro Secondary School. Now, Claudine only gets access to, yes, a computer lab and only a quota of a book because 4 students have to share 1 book. Now, I think all of you will agree with me when I say that it is extremely unfair that me and Claudine are expected to sit for the same national exam and expected to get the same results. Now, if the Rwandan government is planning to move from a teacher-based learning to student-based, then this is a gap that needs to be bridged. And it is around that problem that I conceived the idea of providing these same resources, but then virtually. My solution name is Maxi Online Lab. Now, it is an application that can be used by teachers, students, and the school administration, and can be accessed on all LPCs using the Linux operating system, and also on the Windows laptops. Now, Maxi Online Lab provides access to these resources, such as an online library, an online science lab, all in the computer. Now, because I do acknowledge that not all schools can afford the internet, so this application is also available in form of packages. That is to say that the school purchases the app, the school administration provides Maxi accounts for their teachers and their students, specifying the subjects that the teachers teach and the subjects that the students take in order for them to acquire the different content depending upon the subject they teach or they learn. Now, with Maxi Online Lab, these same students that were from Dira Secondary School or other schools that are like Dira that cannot access these same resources, they will be able to access such resources. Now, if you're a science student or a non-science student, you will get access to a fully equipped library. Now, 4 students no longer have to share one book, thanks to Maxi Online Lab. Now, for students that do sciences, they get access to a fully equipped science lab. They get unlimited chemical supplies. You want to carry out an experiment. 2 chemicals maybe result to a fire, then you will be able to see the fire in the computer, whether it's an OLPC or whether it's just the normal Windows laptops. Now, through Maxi Online Lab, creativity is no longer limited. Now, schools that had to think about all these different expenses they spent on labs, they no longer have to worry about that. Now, with the help of the National Curriculum Development Council and the Rwanda National Examination Council, we'll be able to program it in order to ensure accurate and correct reactions of these chemicals in the lab. Now, I call upon the Ministry of Education. Now, think about all the amounts of money you had to spend in providing all these 3 different resources to these students. Now, think about the money that you were going to spend on the library, building it and maintaining it. Think about the money you were supposed to spend on a science lab, building it and maintaining it. Now, you no longer have to spend that much money. All you have to do is focus that money in providing computer labs in the rest of the schools, and then you have a 3-in-1. That is thanks to Maxi Online Lab. Now, we do acknowledge, thank you. Now, I do acknowledge that all these students do not have the same level of English. That is why, before they use this application, every student and every user will take an English test. They will classify them under 3 different categories: the fluent level, the conversation level, or the beginner's level. If you're at the beginner's level, the Maxi Online Lab application provides you with extra English courses and a translation in order for you to be able to move from the beginner's level to the conversational level and later the fluent level. Because the main point of this is to eradicate the inequality that is available in the education system. And obviously, if the application is in one language and you do not have the same level of English, then that is extremely unfair. Now, when I thought of this application, I thought of all these different students who are expected to sit for the same national exam, but then do not have equal access to the same resources. Now, obviously, for any user, they will need mentorship. If you're a student and you're using this, you will need mentorship. That is why Maxi Online Lab provides a board of discussion for all these different users. So if you're a student, you're carrying out an experiment or you're reading a book, and then you meet a problem, you will want to ask someone, like, interact and share knowledge. That is where you have the board of discussion, where a student can be able to ask a question and get an answer, or maybe be helped to get an answer themselves, whether from their teacher or another teacher from another school that has an account on Maxi Online Lab. Thank you very much. I'm now open to questions.
So if anyone has any questions for Stella.
Great job. You mentioned that they would have access offline, but you didn't go into any details. How would they access it offline?
Well, I mentioned that my application can avail these resources in form of packages. Now, when it's a package, you have it downloaded and then you have it installed on your local disk, or you can even carry it on a flash drive. So imagine carrying a library or a science lab on a flash drive, right? So that is how they should be accessing this.
So Stella, I want to start by congratulating you. Your confidence is something amazing, and I'm sure it's going to be the same for the rest of the girls. But if you're so confident at such a young age, I can only imagine the wonders that Rwanda will be 15 years from now.
Thank
So
you.
for you, the question that I have, and forgive me, we're not all of us geeks, so we may have questions that seem very simple and very easy to understand. I saw that you mentioned science and technology, and I fully recognize that this is a forum that is about girls in science and technology. But this lab that you're creating, do you see it at some point availing information or perhaps access? Perhaps everybody has access to it, even if it's not people with a science and technology background. But do you see it evolving if your idea goes forward? Do you see it as offering possibilities to people beyond even science and technology?
Thank you very much. Well, I did mention that the science lab is a luxury for the students who are in sciences. So for those students who are not in sciences, then they get access to the books that usually they had to share as 4 students in one book. So you have a library that is also digitized in the application. So the students can be able to access that library. And also, if they need further mentorship, they can be able to access that mentorship on the discussion board. Thank you very much.
Stella, well, I'm quite amazed at how you effectively communicate your message.
Thank you.
Congratulations. 2 questions. One, what do you need to take this idea to the next level? Question number 2, how big is your dream?
Well, thank you very much. I'll start with the first question, what do I need? What I need is, first of all, the collaboration that I talked about from the National Curriculum Development Council, which is a semi-autonomous body from the government, and also the National Examination Council in order to be able to program this to its perfection. And I will also need the help of, higher experienced programmers in order to be able to perfect this. And I will also need funding, because obviously I would need money to pay those people who are involved in it, and then the kind of resources that I need in programming the app. And your second question was, how big is my dream? Well, I am planning to make this, first of all, countrywide, to make sure that all students and all schools in Rwanda have access to the same resources to be able to compete at the same level. And then later, we can make it Africa-wide and then worldwide. Why not?
Wow. Any more questions? I can, one more question. No questions? All right.
Thank
you very much, Stella. I can see Honorable Minister high-fiving the PS. I think they're as excited as me. I mean, I'm like, what? Thank you very much, Stella. Allow me to welcome Christo Rujeje. Christo Rujeje is the Director of Business Strategy and Operations at Carnegie Mellon University, Rwanda. So there's a short clip from the university, and so right after the clip, she will give a few remarks. Thank you very much. Let us take the remarks from Crystal as we fix some of the technical issues. Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Minister, Permanent Secretaries, distinguished guests. On behalf of Carnegie Mellon, I would really like to thank Girls in ICT for giving us the opportunity to be a partner, and really commend them for putting together this fantastic event, for having the vision to do it. They're trailblazers in this regard. I am a part of the organization, although I don't get to be as active as I'd like to all the time. And I do identify myself as a geek as well. The current position that I'm in is more strategic and business, but my background is actually in technology. I got my bachelor's in computer science and my master's in information systems and management. Like Aline and Lucy and some of the girls that have already spoken, I can also identify as one of those girls that was awkward, in the class. You had more in common with a lot of the boys that were interested in engineering and mathematics. So it's great to see all of the girls that are here today, and I hope that a lot of you decide to pursue careers in ICT. I'd also like to commend ITU for recognizing Girls in ICT Day. It's really important, and it really opens up a very important conversation for people, because the fact is there's still a very low number of women in the ICT discipline. I count myself as one of the lucky ones because my dad actually insisted that his daughters pursue science and engineering. But I know for many women, they're told, no, this is for boys, or it's too hard, choose something else. And so know that this path is for everyone. I believe that every child should be able to dream big, and you shouldn't be put into a box simply because that you were born a girl. At Carnegie Mellon, I'm happy to report that out of our class, our girls are the top performers. In our graduating class, 4 out of the 5 top students are women. In our current class, our first year of master's students, we only have 1 woman in a class of 21, but guess what? She's the top student in her class. So my hope is that all of the girls today, you mingle with some of our students, some of the girls that are in this organization, and really, identify role models that you can look up to so you see this as a path for your career. So if the video is ready, I think we can move on to that. So again, thank you again for giving us the opportunity to be a partner. It's something that we'd really like to see more women in our program. Although we have them as the top performers, the reality is that we still have, I think we've only had 25%. That's the highest number of women that we've had in any given class. So we're not satisfied with that. We'd like to see more women in our program. So come and see me after the event, and I hope that we can guide you in that path. Thank you.
Carnegie Mellon's Masters of Science in Information Technology program began 2 years ago. This program is in stark contrast to other short-term education projects in Africa. Ours is a strategic, long-term commitment to provide students with a world-class Carnegie Mellon graduate education and to increase innovation through advanced technology on the African continent. Our goal is to educate students on the ground, within the context and challenges unique to East Africa. Technology is driving rapid change on the continent, and our engineering faculty are focused on delivering an exceptional educational experience that will drive creative solutions relevant to Africa. We have remarkable young men and women from across East Africa in this master's program who will go on to start businesses or secure jobs. They work with a wide variety of growing companies to accelerate their learning and to apply their technological skills to create new Africa-centric solutions.
It's very important not to be uprooted from the ecosystem. So the network that you built and things like that. And what happens if you move maybe to the US for some time, you sort of cut off from this your network. So it's important to have studied in Africa because that way you can maintain your network of business people that you work with. So for example, I run a small business where I work with various people, and if they wanted to have new projects to do with me, if I was not in Africa, they would not get in touch with me. For me, one of the key things was the exposure that I got. So one of them was working for IBM in Nairobi. That was something that probably would never have happened if I'd never have gone to CMU.
These graduates are at the beginning of an ecosystem that will transform East Africa and the world. They are at the core of Carnegie Mellon's effort in Africa and will serve as a catalyst of creativity, excellence, and opportunity throughout the region.
Yeah, the classes are really demanding. It was easy for me to do the projects because of the hard work and the time that I spent working and doing research at school, because when you go to work, it's kind of easier for you because you've been transitioning, you've been working hard, so it's not like, it's actually good. It's a benefit to students. After they finish school, when they go to work, they don't feel like the work is really hard. It's kind of easier for them to do the job. I feel so confident. The reason why I feel so confident, it's not because of maybe the courses just that I've been doing. I feel like I can do anything that I want to do. If you tell me to do something, even if I don't know how to do it, I'll learn, I'll take my time, I'll study hard, I'll probably not sleep for a month, but I'll do it because that's what Carnegie Mellon University have taught me, to work hard, to read hard, to spend more hours doing research, and then at the end of the day, you actually see the results of what you've been looking for.
We are excited about the future of East Africa and our role in educating the next generation of African leaders. This is just the beginning.
A round of applause for Carnegie Mellon University, Rwanda. Thank you very much, Crystal. Now, we have our second finalist coming up. Ines Umuhoza is from, now I think I need Maxi Online Lab to say the name of her school. Groupe Scolaire Notre-Dame de Lourdes, Yimana. Ines, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon to everyone. As they said, my name is Umuhoza Ines from Notre-Dame de Lourdes, Yimana, and I take mathematics, biology, and chemistry. I'm so happy to give my contribution to closing this education gap found in Rwanda. But first of all, please allow me to share with you a story. Once upon a time, there was a girl. She was in her primary 6. And one day she borrowed a notebook of mathematics from her neighbor. Taking a look to the content inside the book, she was really lost. She asked herself, have I been studying or maybe I was joking? Seeing all the chapters that she didn't cover, really she felt terribly bad. And what should she do in 2 days before the exam? Of course, you could all imagine that she failed. Of course she failed. And that girl, today, she's in this room. And that girl is me. That's why I'm so happy to give my contribution to closing this education gap found in Rwanda. Thanks to technology, I came up with this solution, Rwanda Education website and TV program. You wonder how this is going to work? It's so simple. Slide, please. One qualified teacher is going to be able to supply knowledge, both online and offline, to all students in the country, so that there won't be an education gap found in Rwanda. And you wonder how somebody, for example, in Rutaro, in Northern Province, who is not able even to have access on electricity, is going to have eco knowledge as somebody who is maybe in Riviera here in Kigali. By using communication means that we have, like radio and television, knowledge are going to be shared. Using online, one specialized teacher is going to use video conferencing. I'm sure that many of you have heard about a conference called Leadership Summit. It's a conference that joined like 140 countries. They don't have to move from their country to attend the meeting. They just stay there, and using video conferencing, they are active in that conversation. And I'm sure that using that conversation for people who are able to have access on internet, it will be successful to provide quality education. Also, thinking about those ones who are not able to have access on internet, I thought about using TV as a channel. The information provided online are going to be broadcasted live for those students also to have access. More to create it like a classroom environment, students and their teacher who are supervising their studies are going to be also allowed to ask questions, to give their comments as to enhance what they've run. By using SMS, by calling, the students are going to learn more. Also, there will be inbox discussion for the website so that a teacher will provide additional notes and even videos of experiments for people who are not able to carry them by their own. They are going to be made in hard documents so that everybody is going to be able to have access on the information. My action plan for this project to work properly is, first of all, a well-built system which will be able to supply quality education both online and offline. Also, another thing is that we are not all good at technology, so I would like to give trainings to teachers and even students so as to work familiar with that technology. Also, not every school have TV or radio, so you know that there is Umurenge TV. Why not bringing school TV and school radio so as to help them? And I cannot end this presentation without reminding you all, ladies and gentlemen, that quality education is the basic key towards sustainable development of our beloved country. Thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Hi, Ness.
Hello.
I think you've done a great job in presenting your idea. My question is simple. Just listening to your idea, I was wondering, why hasn't this been done before? Because it sounds very simple, very straightforward. So what do you think has been missing in terms of implementing it until now? Why hasn't it been done?
I really think that people thought about it in a different way. Maybe someone thought about using video conferencing, another one thought about using radio. And there are some barriers like studying mathematics without being in eyesight with the teacher. And so I think that was the main barrier for them. Thank you.
I want to congratulate you as well, Ines. I will continue with this, I'm sure, with all the rest. It was a really great presentation. My question relates to the offline component. I want to understand if for you, when you say offline, you mean that it's broadcasted on TV. It's not offline regarding the computer use, meaning you're online, you can access direct material online, and offline you could access it even if you're not over the internet, right? If we talk about computers. So I just want to understand, just frame it the way you want to frame it, but does the offline component, could we say interchangeably that it's broadcasting TV? So it would be online versus TV broadcast. Is that what you mean?
Thank you. By saying offline means, I mean for people who are not able to have internet access.
There's a question in the audience. Are the judges done?
Thank you. My name is Vanessa. I'm from Gashara Girls Academy. And I have two questions. First, that program, will the students be learning in English, in French, or in Kinyarwanda? And also, for students who have barriers of language, how do you manage to work on that? Second, they say it will be broadcasted on television and on radio if it's offline. Then if you have a question and you're a student, you are following it on the radio, how will you ask the question to the teacher? Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the first question, Lydie, I would like to answer you in this way. What we want is to close this education gap found in Rwanda. It's not about solving the problem of languages. Of course, it will be dealt later, but what will be done is to create a platform which will favorize all students in Rwanda to get the same content. And on another one that you asked, I think I said it in my action plan that students will be allowed to call, even to send SMS, or even to use that inbox discussion as to enhance their knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. Only one more question, and please ask one question.
Thank you. My name is Mahora Celeste from Gashara Girls Academy. And my question is, you said there will be one teacher sharing knowledge to every student. I'm asking, so will it be one teacher in every, as in sharing knowledge in every field, as in every subject? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, it will be one qualified teacher in each field. Like an example, we have the best teacher in entrepreneurship, Mr. Charis. He can be able to to transfer knowledge to all the country. Like students who are in senior 6, they will be allowed to run entrepreneurship following the class of Mr. Charles.
Thank you, Ines.
Thank you.
Another round of applause for Ines. I would just like to mention that one of our sponsors, Strix, is actually providing the software for the judges to score the participants. And so later on, you will see how this software works. So we've heard about an online lab. We've heard about TV and radio. Allow me to introduce the third finalist. So Vanessa Mutesi is from Kigali International Community School, and her app is actually called Rwanda Online. So I am actually the CEO of Rwanda Online Platform Limited. So I have to say I'm a little biased towards the contestant. Vanessa, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Like they said, I'm 15 years old and I go to Kigali International Community School and I'm currently in S3. Now, before I begin, I'd like to set the stage. Imagine you're 17 years old and you're stuck in S2. You're surrounded by 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds. When you get out of class, you go, you meet with your friends, and you hear them talking about their academic challenges and all these schoolwork that they have to catch up on, and you have no way to engage with them. You have no way to talk about what you're going through because they've already surpassed that. That's where my solution, Rwanda Online Open School, comes in handy. Rwanda Online Open School will be a platform for students across Rwanda to be able to access quality content anywhere and anytime. I'm going to break this down into 3 parts. First is how it works. Second, who are the users and what devices they can use. And third is the impact it will have in our communities. So first up, slide please. Here you have a diagram of how it works. So the content would be downloaded online and be able to be stored at the Telecom House Database Center, which is the biggest in the country. And that would collaborate with the routers and the switches and the Rwanda Online Open School server in order to broadcast it to devices such as tablets, phones, PCs, and the one laptop per child. Now, all of this would happen with collaboration with the Ministry of Education, which would give us the curriculums, the syllabus, the school calendar, and previous examinations that the students can use as study materials. Now, all of this would be accessed using the teacher's online login, and the teachers would have the privilege to download new content where they see fit, as well as tutor the students, and as well as encourage them, because encouragement is a big part of it. And the teachers would be able to help students where they see fit, and if they see that they need to have contact with a parent, they'd be able to communicate with them. How would the students benefit from this? The students would be able to access content, and instead of carrying around textbooks or having to share a textbook with someone, they'd be able to access this offline and both online. And they would also have a platform to communicate with students around the country. Say if I'm having trouble in biology and Stella is in Nyamasheke and has the answer to my problem, we can communicate on that platform and be able to post that information for other students who may have the problem. But then again, you think, what about the students who try to post inappropriate content? That's where the teacher comes in, or the admin role, and be able to accept or decline the request of the information that's being posted. Also, I was able to talk to a few students around Kigali whom I asked about their academic life and as well as the parents' involvement in their school life. And 2 out of 4 students have little or no parental involvement in their academics. And that's something I would like to change using Rwanda Online Open School. The parents would be able to use their phones using the USSD technology, whereby they can type in a code and they would receive information such as the teacher's contact information, the child's grades, and as well as the school calendar, see where they have programs available for the students. Another thing I'd like to impact is proactivity in students. For example, in my class, and my peers and I, sometimes sit in class when we're lazy and decide to sit back and rely on our teacher to give us the content. And most of the time, we can walk out of the classroom almost learning about nothing. So we can't always rely on our teachers to give us knowledge because only 1% of what you learn is inside a classroom. I want to impact students to be more proactive and independent because a wise woman once told me, if you want to achieve your dream, you have to get up and go get it. And that's why I want to impact students around Rwanda to also have this kind of spirit and attitude toward the academics. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
I'd like to commend you on and the previous girls on the quality of your presentations. They are very engaging.
Thank you.
I think it's a testament to your skill and all those who have been working with you. So I'd like to commend your teachers as well. My question relates to the parental aspect of your program. I didn't quite get whether the parental aspect is just a monitoring or is the parent supposed to teach you as well? How do you envisage it happening?
Thank you for your question. The main reason I involved parents is because sometimes it is important for your parent to be a part of your academic life because you need that encouragement and as well that monitoring, because when you're away from school, you have to be in charge of your own schoolwork, and having parents watching and being able to keep up with you would be an important part. So when the parents would be able to communicate with the teachers, whereby if the teacher sees that the student is lagging back and is not being able to turn in their work on time, or where they see the student is actually excelling, they can be able to communicate this with the parents, and as well as the parents being able to communicate their teachers with the teachers in order to find out how they themselves can help the school and in other aspects.
Congratulations, Vanessa. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if I missed it. You mentioned that the parents can access their child's information via USSD. Mm-hmm. Can the students also access the content via USSD, or it's strictly via the internet for phones and tabs and all that?
Well, if the students were to use the USSD, they wouldn't be able to have broader information because there's only so much information that you can get with that USSD technology, and as well as how much time you have with that to see that content. So if the students wanted to use that technology, they could, but their searches would be narrowed down because there'd be certain codes for the parents and the students. So if they wanted to use that USSD technology, they'd be able to type it in and find, like, say, a page number or a quotation of what they're looking for.
So how do you address the issue of students who have no access to internet at all?
They would be able to access it using the local area network, and since the content would already be stored on a server, they'd be able to see it without having constant online access and be able to just open the files that have already been stored.
Please go ahead.
How does your solution address the language difficulties that some students face?
Thank you for asking that question. The students would be able to see the text in English, but as well as have the translation next to it, so that if there's some words they're not sure of, they can be able to see the translation in English. And this would also help them excel in that aspect by looking at the translation and also looking at what the word means in order for them to broaden their vocabulary.
It's a great presentation, Vanessa, and I have to say it's getting harder and harder to score because I'm going to end up with just 5s everywhere. I have a quick question that is not technology related, but in terms of the content, do you think you would be able at some point to access content that would not necessarily be just the curriculum or the information that we have in Rwanda, in our schools, but maybe from abroad as well?
Yes, like for example, when I said the teachers would be able to update the content, there'd be links or other websites that the teachers would have access to in order to see how they could also enhance their classroom environment using what they've seen online and be able to get content from other places so they can add to what they have already.
Vanessa, one question. As my colleague just said, it's becoming harder and harder to score. So if you could help me with the scoring and tell me one or two things that you think are very unique on your solution as opposed to the others. Something that differentiates you from the others.
Ooh, thank you. I think what differentiates me from others and as well as other education systems and programs that have been set is that most of the time they really focus on academics, and I also want to focus on communication and as well as making students more aware of what they can do for themselves instead of relying on what teachers can do for them.
Thank you, Vanessa. Due to time, I'm sorry I can't take any questions from the audience. Another round of applause for Vanessa. That was really good. Thank you very much. I just want to remind you to keep tweeting about the event, to get more people involved. And just remember that there's a photo booth outside, so if you go for a break, feel free to pass by. On this note, I would like to welcome Diana Gatera, who is the Deputy Director General of Imbuto Foundation. As I mentioned earlier, Imbuto's foundation has been really key in addressing the gap in education for girls in Rwanda. Founded by the First Lady, I believe 10 years ago. I think Imbuto Foundation is one of the key players in this space today. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well. Thank you very much. For me, I think what I will do is I will speak from my heart. I'm not a technology person, but I value technology tremendously. I think this is what is going to get to Rwanda to Vision 2020, which you all know about. And we can applaud Vision 2020. So most of you, I think, know about Imbuto Foundation. I'm going to make it short, but I think we have guests that may come from other countries. So we're involved in health and education programs, essentially. We're not per se an organization that implements innovative projects in the sense that we're talking about today, meaning science and technology. This is not our expertise, but we do value it a lot, and we do understand how powerful it is a tool for not only Imbuto's beneficiaries, but for the country in general. We're a country that does not have resources in terms of energy and otherwise for the time being. Hopefully we will find some. But because of that, we are a country that is oriented towards services. This is really what is going to get us to the next level. And those services are not only going to be about Rwanda, it's about regional integration. And I think this was mentioned in one of the presentations we saw before. So this is why we believe that we have to push these kinds of projects as much as we can. So we're a supporter of this, and I have to thank the Minister of my ICT for involving us in this kind of initiatives, because we do believe that it's the way forward. So that's what we're about. You understand what Imbuto is, you understand what we do. The only thing I can say at this point is that we really commend all these girls. It's incredible to see how you can speak, how confident you are. I think at that age we were just in class, sitting at the back of the class and hoping that the teacher would not ask any question of us. But to see you speaking so eloquently and so confidently is a powerful, powerful tool. You know why? Because when you know how to speak, when you know how to communicate what it is that you're thinking, truthfully, you can sell pretty much everything. I encourage you to sell the right thing, of course, but you can sell pretty much everything. And I think it's one of the reasons why we're having such a hard time. I'm personally having a very difficult time grading you. It started in the beginning with Stella, and I thought, okay, this is this is manageable, I know what to do. And as we went on, by the time we got to Vanessa, after Ines, I was confused. Should I just put 5s to everyone and then make this job a little harder for the final grading? Or should I just, try to find, as Patrick mentioned a little bit earlier, try to find that little thing, that little more that distinguishes one of you from the rest? But on that, I just want to congratulate you. It's a really, really good job.
Thank you very much, Diana. Just another round of applause for Imbuto Foundation for supporting us to make this day a success. I have to say, I really agree with you, Diana, because listening to the girls, I am pretty sure at their age, I was not able to do anything close to this. So I just want to commend you, and for the next two, as we go into the final stretch of the contest, come and own it. Keep going strong. We're behind you. So coming up next is Vanina Umutako. Vanina is from Gashola Girls Academy, and she has an Apple Rwanda Educate. The floor is yours, Vanina.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Umutako Vanina. I'm currently in Senior 6 at Gashola Girls Academy, as you just said, and I take math, economics, and computer science. So I'm here today to talk about my solution, Rwanda Educate, whose ultimate goal is to ensure and facilitate easy spread of educational resources to all students in all schools in Rwanda using the already existing infrastructure in Rwanda. So I'm going to tell you a story of a girl I met. So as I was going back home on a bus, I remember it was a Tuesday. I was fortunate enough to sit beside this girl. Her name is Diane. As we started talking to one another, introducing ourselves, our names, where we go to school, it brought up a conversation about academics. So she told me that she was coming from Kibungo, where she actually studies, and that she has come to Kigali to meet a friend who would provide her with school textbooks that she would make a photocopy of and return the books. I was deeply hurt by this, regarding that seeing a girl like me in the same grade, coming all the way from Kibungo to Kigali just to make a photocopy of the school textbooks that should be otherwise having at a school. So I tried not to show the emotion and change the subject. So I asked her where she wants to go to university, regarding that she's going in university next year. So quickly and happily she said Stanford. I was very intrigued by the idea and asked her how far she had gone with the SATs and the TOEFL, which are the standardized tests, which are the requirements to go to such universities. She told me that she had no idea what a TOEFL is or SAT is. So I tried to explain, but still she wouldn't get much of it. So this is where my solution, Rwanda Educate, comes in. It's both a mobile app and web app that's going to be accessed by mostly 3 users. The students, these are university students, secondary students, and primary students, and institutions. These are secondary school institutions, since a student in secondary cannot afford to buy such a gadget or primary schools. And then also teachers and university students, they're going to buy it at a personal level. So this app is mostly composed of 3 main aspects: resources, opportunities, and university counseling. So if I am a student at, let's say, Nyamasheke, and I can have enough access to the school resources just like Diane, so I'm going to be able to access school textbooks, educational sites, national exam past papers and school past papers online anytime. And I'm also going to be aware of the opportunities out there for me. There's so many students out there who like to participate in outside activities like competitions like Miss Geek itself. Get aware of the job opportunities out there, internships that can help to build on their skills. So this is going to create the awareness so that on the holidays, students can be also active. Education doesn't end only in classes. It's also going to help students access university counseling information, like that student Diane and me personally, who is in Senior 6, looking forward to going to a university. So this part is going to provide the students with information about universities in Rwanda and outside of Rwanda, and it's going to provide the resources such as SAT books, TOEFL books, a list of universities that give the most good financial aid to international students, and so on and so forth. The app is going to be accessed both online and offline, and the offline part is going to be by the use of USSD technology. Like, let's say if I want to study this math topic, calculus, for example, so I'm going to be able to type the codes and get the information. So I also acknowledge that it cannot handle heavy files, and therefore it's going to be used as more of a question and answer format. So I am a student, and let's say I have a difficulty in biology. I ask a question in biology, and then I get the answer. I acknowledge that there are also some risks accrued to this technology, since it's going to be mostly used by teenagers who are more tempted to upload or post inappropriate information. Therefore, this is where the role of school administrators is going to come in. So they're going to put a firewall to the application, mostly in the examination times, to avoid like students using it to copy. So they won't be able to use it again. And there's also going to be constant supervision on which kind of information is posted. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Okay. There's something you said about using a USSD in a question and answer format. Would you elaborate how that would work?
So there's going to be codes, like, for example, if I have a question in mathematics on a certain topic, calculus, then I'm going to type that code which is meant for math, calculus, essay chapter 1. Since it's going to be a small file, then I'm going to get that small file which will be having the answer to my question in it.
I'm not sure I'm convinced with how this question and answer thing would work. But I'll let my colleagues maybe ask other questions. Otherwise, well presented. Thank you.
Thank you.
My question is, what will be different between your solution as opposed to a student going online and just doing a search, or going to Wikipedia and putting in, since Wikipedia is free as well, you can go to Wikipedia and type up your question and get the response. So what will be the difference between that, doing a normal search and using your solution?
So the difference is mostly this, as regards to Rwanda, not all students have access to the laptops and to steady internet to go and ask such questions and get answers. And the next thing is that some students have the questions, but they do not get that urge to go and do it. So, like, they are not exposed to that educational environment that is going to help them like improve in their learning. So this is just an educational environment, only that. So they're not going to be getting any distractions, and that's it. That is it.
In your model, who at the universities will be conducting the counseling?
University counselors. I also acknowledge that there are few in Rwanda, but I believe if I am a senior 6 student and I am familiar with the whole process of application, I'm in position to give advice to my fellow student who has no idea about what this is. I have access to the books. I can easily upload them and make them accessible to all the students out there who have no idea of what this is, and yet have the dream of going to that university.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
My question is also about the offline content. If the offline content is just for Q&A, how does it address the issue of inequality, especially in the rural schools, because they're the ones that really need access to better content?
You said if the offline content is only for?
The offline content is just for Q&A, as I understand it, right? So how does it address the issue of inequality in the, let's say, the curriculum that a school in Kigali might receive and a school that's upcountry, since they're the ones that really need access to better content?
So students in all schools are going to be provided by the curriculum. Of course, the school administrator is going to provide that. And if the students are not happy, not satisfied with the content that they get at school, then they can go on and ask the questions and therefore get the information.
All right. Thank you very much, Vanina. You can have a seat. So we are hearing all these technologies, all these solutions, and I have to admit, I'm a little tempted to answer some of the questions for the girls, being a geek myself. The next speaker is Oda Uimana. Oda is from IPRC Kigali, and she's our last but not least finalist by any means. Like I mentioned, there's a surprise. I have a surprise. So I see people stepping out. You do not want to miss this surprise. Note this. All right, Oda, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. My name is Oda Denise Wimana. I go to school at IPRC Kigali. EduShare is my project which I'm presenting today. Slide. Okay. 5 years back, I was in Senior 3. I sat for my Senior 3 national examination like other students across the country. During the exams, I noticed that there is some content we didn't cover in class. The QVL failed the exam. It was so sad. You can see it to the photo. This situation made me to prepare ahead for my Senior 6 final examination by using Ibigugu, borrowed notes from other schools. It's how students we used to call it Ibigugu. So the problem I was facing that time, is the same problem some students facing this time. Is that all students across the country study in different way, taught by different teachers, get the education content in different way, and start to pass one exam. This caused some students to fail. This made me to think to a simple platform where all students can share their ideas, can share experience, as long as they're in the same conditional. Slide. So this is how I want that EduShare will work. Let's take an example. I'm student, I'm student, for example, at 4 Girls School. I'm in Senior 3. And I have an account on EduShare. If I log in, I'll be able to connect with all students across the country, which is in Senior 3. That will be able to share freely course material, like syllabus, notes, past paper, exam, and that will be help me to pass the national examination with the same package with other students which are in the same class. And if I goes to Senior 3 according to academic year, the system will upgrade me automatically without you going to create another account. And I will be able to see all curriculum provided by the Ministry of Education for the whole year, because the Rwanda education portal is an existing system, will be linked to my platform. And that's how we're going to work with a student with Senior 1, Senior 2, up to Senior 6. And through this platform, I believe that students will be able to share their content as long as they're in different districts of Rwanda. And I believe that through this platform, as everything's shared well, the gap between schools' location will be eliminated. and all students will go to pass the national examination with the same package, and the education quality of education will be rising. Thank you.
How does your solution address the language difficulties that students in the different areas face?
Okay, we know that all courses are taken by using the English. Is how my solution or content will be in English.
Will the content be available offline as well, or the student will need internet access at all times?
Yes, it will be used the internet because in the start will be the website, and later I will provide the mobile application so that can be used access to the mobile application to the mobile devices.
Oda, thank you very much. Excellent presentation. Same question I asked Stella. What do you need to take it to the next level?
Okay. First of all, I want to see my platform learning and accessed by all students in Rwanda. And I want that all students have the same package.
Yes, one question. Are the judges? One question from the audience.
Thank you very much. By names of Pascal Ikize from JSMD Erblimana. So if I heard well about your project, there is only interaction of students. There is no intervention of teachers. So I'm asking if the students ask a question to their neighbors or of the same class, and the all students fail to answer the question, all others give her or him the wrong answer, and there is no intervention of teachers who will go to look the answers given by other students. So what will happen?
Okay, as well have I said, I need that student stand for. It's not. I know that I want that student work hard for get more information about their courses. So if they fail to answer those questions, they have to go and search, and they share among themselves.
Okay, one more question, just one more. I don't know how the mic will, okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Agakoya Jasmine from Gashora Girls Academy. So my question is, if I heard well, you said if, for example, a student creates an account as a senior 3 student, next year she or he is going to be upgraded automatically. So my question is, for example, if a student repeats that level, what's going to happen?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question. On my system, if academic, if 1 year ends, before the new academic start, there will be somehow linked the question that we ask you if you want to go to the next level or to stay to the level you are.
All right. Thank you very much, Oda. A round of applause for Oda, please. As the last presentation, I want to ask you to make a very huge round of applause for all the contestants for doing such a good job. So as the judges tally the votes, I would like to welcome our keynote speaker for today, Dr. Aminata Garba, who has a very impressive biography. So Dr. Aminata is an assistant professor at the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at Carnegie Mellon University, Rwanda. Prior to joining CMU, she worked at the Regulatory Authority of Niger, the National Institute for Scientific Research in Canada, and the National Center for Scientific Research in France. She has served in a number of committees, such as the Executive Committee of the West African Telecommunication Regulators Assembly, the Informal Experts Group for the World Telecommunications/ICT Policy Forum, and the Board of Directors of the African Network Information Center. Dr. Aminata received her bachelor's degree from Laval University in Canada and her master and PhD degrees from the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at McGill University. So a round of applause for Dr. Aminata.
Hello. So, hi everybody. Thank you, Aline, for this introduction. My speech was supposed to be 25 minutes. I heard I have 5 minutes. So it will be very hard, maybe 7, Aline. So please check the time for me. I will try to make it short. Let me start by reminding these young minds what is ICT. ICT stands for Information and Communication Technology, and usually it is the integration of telecommunication, internet, and computer services. So there is no doubt that ICT really shape our lives today. Today we use all the online services, we use Facebook, etc., but also in our daily lives. ICT actually foster the economics such as health, also or finance, and other economic activities on the countries. However, today, women are really challenged by ICT. They're facing so many challenges. We have so many women who have access in ICTs. Sometimes they don't even have access to computer. Or if they have access to computer, they don't have access to internet. Worldwide, only about 20% of women workforce in ICT, compared to about much more in the other sectors. So what I want today to discuss with you are how can this challenge be actually solved, or how can we attempt to solve those challenges in our own context here. First of all, there are all these cliches about ICT. ICT is a man's job. ICT does not really fit women's lives. ICT is time consuming, or people will say men are better in ICT than women are. And we all know that these cliches are really wrong. Crystal said earlier that in our classes, women are actually the best in ICT. So we know that these cliches are not good. So for us to overcome this, we need first to go over this stereotype because they are completely wrong. The second thing is we have to go beyond the idea that women are ICT consumers. Women actually can create ICT. They can produce ICT. If I go back to the statistics, even among the 20% women who are in ICT, only 6% are at CEO levels in the world. And if you look at the academic science, which you will see actually the bright minds, you have around 4% of women in ICT. If I take the example of the US, in 1980s, you have around 25% of women who are graduating from ICT. Today, you have only 18%. In electrical engineering, you have even less. You have 10%. And all this is about the cliches about ICT. So I wanted to actually, before concluding on ICT, I was supposed to tell you about my story in ICT, but I decided I will tell you a different story. My story about how I learned to ski. I lived in Canada for a very long time, and everybody knows that it's very much cold in Canada. If you want to enjoy the winter in Canada, you need to do winter activities like ski. So I decided to learn how to ski. First of all, learning ski is very expensive. It's $250 per lesson. And this is maybe my saving for the whole month as student or the whole year. I anyway decided that I want to go and then learn to ski. The second thing is you have to go outside the city. You can't learn to ski inside the city. You have to go to the mountains. And I had to drive 2 hours to go to ski. The third thing is I have to be there at 6 a.m. Therefore, I had to leave my place at 4 a.m., even 3 a.m. When I went to learn to ski, the instructor took me to the baby trail. And when I say baby trail, the kids have between 2 and 5 years old. So I was really surprised. Why? I was, first of all, embarrassed. I said, I can't be with these kids. They're like my kids. And he said, no, with these kids, you actually have the same age on ski than these kids. You have never skied before. So you have the same level as these kids. You need to go with these kids. I went with these kids. And then he sat and told me, now I will watch you learn how to fall. And then I became angry. I paid $250. I traveled 2 hours. And he was sitting back. I was with 2 years old, and he was asking me to fall down, and he will see how I'm falling. So I was really angry. And then I start anyway trying to ski and falling down. And then skiing and falling down. So let me tell you what I learned from this story. First of all, it's never too late to learn something. You can always learn. If you have not started ICT today, you can start it today. It's not late. If you start ICT today, you have the same age as any young kid who has 2 years old, and you will be with these young kids. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be uncomfortable. Let yourself be out of your comfort zone. Then you will learn much more than if you are in your comfort zone. The other thing I learned from this experience is don't be afraid to fail. You will fail in your life. But when you fail, how you raise is the most important thing. In fact, falling is not an issue, but raising after you fall is the right thing. I remember my ski instructor was telling me that if you are afraid of falling down, then you will hurt yourself. Don't be afraid. I'm just sitting here watching you, but don't be afraid. If you are afraid, when you fail, you will hurt. But if you are not afraid, then you will fail well, and then you will raise after this. Then in your case, you are very young. Don't be afraid. Try and try again until you succeed. The great companies like Apple have failed several times, and you have all your life behind you to fail and learn and then to succeed in that. The other thing I want to ask you also, dream. Dream big. Don't let anything limit your dream. You can dream as big as you want. In ICT, you can do big things in ICT. So dream big. The reality may not be exactly as your dream, but this is the closest it will get to your dream. So dream and then dream big. And try it. If you don't try it today, if you don't start it today, you will never achieve it. So you have to start it. You have to try it. The other thing I want, excuse me, I'm going fast because I have the time limit, but the other thing I want to say is you have to start today. ICT will not only facilitate your life, but it will empower you. As women, as people, you will shape the life of people in Rwanda. You will make a great contribution if you go in ICT. You will make contribution in your life, but in other people's life. But you also contribute in the economy of your country. And believe me, there is not greater feeling than the feeling that you are contributing in the success of your own country. So go ahead, go to ICT. We expect to see you at CMU. I expect to see half of you in my future classes. And then thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Aminata. That was quite the moving speech. So like she said, dream big and don't be afraid to fail. Do not be afraid to fail. Thank you very much, Dr. Aminata. Once more, I want to remind you and ask you to keep tweeting, keep engaging everyone. out there so that they can be part of the event. So now, drum roll, the surprise. Are you ready? You guys don't seem ready. Can I feel more excitement for the surprise?
Ladies and gentlemen, my work here is just to take you from ICT and from women, from just to keep you smiling. I'm going to apologize for the language of instruction here is going to be Kinyarwanda. I like trying to speak a language I try than a language I master. So it's better I speak Kinyarwanda, and you can help me. You can help me translate for those who cannot understand Kinyarwanda. Je ambassador wa consumateri mu Rwanda. Nagira mu by'ukuri ndasima abateguye bine ebirori nanjye ndesimye kuba abagore kuba ICT ariko mu by'ukuri ndesimye amaboko yezu turebe. Yewe ndi omuntu yavukiye Jamaica ariko kubera emibereho n'obuwunzi twarahunze abanyarwanda murabizi mwese nagize hano mu Rwanda ndagerageza kwiga Ikinyarwanda ariko byarangiye bimbereye empano bimbereye n'ecyo kisobora kuntunga. Turasima rero leta yasize ngufu mu mpano ikasire ngufu mu ICT no mu kuteza imbere abagore. Ndasimiye leta muyikomera amasi. Mu by'ukuri abakobwa muri hano ndagira mbaho ubuhamya. Musobora kuba muri hano no kwisinda bari ahantu hensi cyane mu bihugu bya Afrika usobora kubona abakobwa nka b'imyaka 15 asobora ku presentinga project ya ICT jewe numiwe nka ambassador w'abakonsumateri. Kandi for sure olebi abana batonkaba okale najaga nuva Rwanda ICT nkagira balabesa none ndabyebone ndo muhamya wuzuye. Ndagira mbabwire ebyonkola nkola omuga wo kuvugira consumers. Consumers ambassador in Rwanda. I've done this for 2 years almost and I'm doing a great job, and I'm going to tell you about some of the projects that I achieved last year. One, naje mchongereza kandi bambuye mvuge Ikinyarwanda. Okay, mu by'ukuri natangiye ku kibazo cy'enyama murabizi. Mwama restaurant menshi nkunze kujya mu hano muji wa Kigali kana kazana Kamiria Karibu wose barakubwira nti ni self service ariko ukasanga baterese umusore weze ya kunyama. Eche kibazo twakibuye RDB akicece ariko ndimo ndacyakora obusakasasi ndasaka kumenya ne kibazo cyenkazi tahagize mu Rwanda inyama zabayenje cyanga ne kibazo cy'abanyarwanda tukunde nyama cyane. Kubera abanyamahanga baratuseka iyo basanze dishes ku muhogo nta muntu hari kubizumba nta muntu hari kumukiri nta muntu hari ariko kasanga umusore weze ya kunyama kuti anti nimwe. So nebyo twatangiye ekyo nakitangiriyeho ndagira ahantu bakagira oboba bakakura umuntu kunyama. So turagerageza kugira nti inkazi yongere mu Rwanda turasimba gahunda agirenka buri munyarwanda naji. Nalimo mbwira abantu babayobozi ntaliko ko mutanginka mulazinka ni nyamaswa netungo etungo lihenze kolola hari umuntu bayiha akafa mbere y'inka enka netungo lihenze nukuvuga ebiciro by'obukene oli omutindinya kujja nti wa mwinka omutindinya kujja n'omuntu omuhaye nebiryo alakusaba esafuriya y'okuteeka. So nibiza lero tutanga matungo tulebe classes z'abantu tutanga matungo ajanye n'obusobozi kuko hari amatungo magufi mu Kinyarwanda tusireho gahunda agira olukwavu gire hene gire nkoko no muji wa Kigali hano twatangize gire obucuruzi omuntu ola musingira akabutike ati gire obucuruzi. So turasima leta cyane ministeri y'olubyiruko mu byukuri numvise minister ali hano sindambona neza ariko bambuye ali hano ndagira ntango obutumwa cyane ku ministeri y'olubyiruko tulisima cyane kubona olubyiruko lwagiye mu TVET kubera ebintu twiga mu kaminuza je nize myaka 30 mwalimu zinti omusinga wo kwiga no musinga osobola kuhomba je ndo omuhamia nize myaka 30 life expectancy y'abanyarwanda 65 nukuvuga leba osoye mu musinga ploze okasiramu amafaranga yawe time n'amafaranga noneho eyo ploze okayubakira emyaka 30 bakakubwira nutangira gukola 25 otahe nukuvuga nti olubaka enzu oyibeme ekihe kito birenze ko wayubase wose urumva ntala hombi. So tulasaka shortcut, tulasaka nti olangize gutya senior 6 aba bana olabona omwana alakola ebintu tasoboye nalize kaminuza je na aswaye. So buli abo short courses omwana ave mu senior 6 nibula hali kintu asobola okukola. Ebyo n'okusima ICT tukasima minisiteri y'olubyiruko. Mu byukuri tufite ekibazo kya unemployment hano mu Rwanda olubyiruko ntago lufite akazi. Ariko ni tucha motivate abana balasudira abana balakola mitako abana balakola computers abana balafite ebintu byinsi byokukola none ekibazo kya unemployment walarwanye n'ebibazo byinsi nkanso kiriya. So ndagira nkangulire ministeri ekomezo y'omulongo kuko haliho noneho olubyiruko lutengere kuchukula amazu n'ebintu biteyo woba ezobundi numvaga president republic akomeza avuga nti omutekano n'enjinji y'amajyambere omutekano simenye ebyavuga ezobundi nibona abibonye. Abazula balaze bali chukula enzu yanjye balatwala television batwala kuka ebintu byose nali mfite balabitwala naze kumenya ko omutekano ufite omutekano abakuluse ekintu kinini. So omusole w'olubyiruko lero nala mufase ndamubwira aliko se enzu ko ichukula ati ndi mugahunda yo kwangira omulimo. So ni biza ministere sirehe milimo yemewe listi kubera abantu bali milimo just % y'omulimo. Kandi je ndio mulokole nsoma Biblia eyo mfase omuzula ndakulikiza ezambuli Imana ema ezambuli avuga nti Yesu azaza nko muzula ndabanza nkamubaza oli Yesu nkabona nkakubita. So mu byukuri ndaba nakoze ebintu byinsi ndasima MTN teri hano na Tigo. Ndiyo Burundi nakoze akakomedi kavuga nti barakukata nakakole nagiye Burundi hale ebintu bya roaming noneho mfite mama faranga magana 100 noneho abantu bakampa magala abantu banyisuza bamwe bantuka amafaranga yanje ali mu alagenda noneho njenje kwamagala wo mu rugo nti amafaranga yasize mu ndavuga se none se jewe kuki batamfata kubera consumers rights kuki jewe na je Burundi obuna ba international kuki amafaranga yose bataya charging oliyo mamagala kuki ba charging aje witaba baka charging nuliyo hamagala ebyo se au consumer olumva I have to spend when I decide to spend. Why are you charging me for someone decision to just call me and you charge me? So byala bihinduse mubakomera amasi obungu nta roaming mu East Africa. Nakuyo cash power. Mwalimu zi cash power nagizo oluhale mukuraho amafaranga yatangwaga 500 buli kwezi ku cash power. Nalavuga gekine kikoleso kya iwasa. Ninkama poto. Kuki nja kukikodesa. Bakiterese no kunzu yanje ntangaho obukode. Ahubwo bakwiye kunyisura. Eri akonte erichanga cash power ni omunzani ninko omunzani mu butiko tupimira omucheri. Obose nakwisura omucheri nkisura nkakodesa no munzani. So ibyani fair byose byo byavuyeho muzi Nyabugogo hali lula bambuyeri hano siye sinzwe transport omwaka osize hali he myuzure kubera ekiralo kyatwalaga amazi yavanye kimisagala yali hato amazi akuzura none abantu bo mukasata bakakenera abasole bo kubambusa ku mazi ku bintu byo kuhangira omulimo omusole weze akatereka omuntu ku mutwe cyanga ku rutugu akamwambusa bumvikanya amafaranga 500 kumulenza kiri ekiralo cyali cyuzuye alike cyali kibabaze abo basole bakaba abusing akagera hagati mu mazi akabwira omugabo ati umusaza ndumva olemeri uranyongera hikikere ati ni wanga ndakunagamu noneho tukabwira lula kuki tasira hebisiro byo kwambusa abantu mu mazi obuntu nkobo ni butoya ariko ku makonsomateri ni bunini tukivuga ebyo haliya ntuza Nyabugogo mulaziko tufite ekibazo muji wa Kigali ezo naganiraga na meya ku kibazo kya public toilets. I'm sorry to use this. Aliko hali washrooms tahagize ziri public mu byukuri omuji wa Kigali kugira ngo tugire suku ekomeze ebe suku aba ministry bali n'aba PS muntu fase mutange buno butuma genda agonganira n'abantu bensi kubera simbabona aliko ekibazo kya obweherero bwa Lusanje ne kibazo kikomeye. Olugero naje hali Nyabugogo hali public toilets aliko nasanze ekibazo kya genda kandi abagole bali hano n'abakowa mulakikomera masi kubera nije wakikemwe haliho emisalani public hano mulazi mucho Nyarwanda tubita kwehagalika n'irindi no kwituma mubale kuleserizambo aliko n'obusakasasi nakoze noneho okwehagalika ku mugabo nizana Nyabugogo hali ya mupaka kwehagalika nizana kwituma ni desa noneho ekintu kibabazi abagole ekyo wabo giye kukola cyose ni desa noneho nahamagaye olubiriko ndalubaza aliko se ebi bisiro ko bibangame omuntu yarampamagara aramubwira ati bibangamiye abakonsumateri ndaje okora obusakasasi nsanga abana barambwira ati rero omugabo kubera byolose turamuleba hali atwasireho akakuta arahagalala kusa akata ataliko omugole bisaba kajjamu akakinga kandi ntabo babona aho kwicaza barabi noneho ati turamucha magana 2 kubera ko halimwe nalimwe abikola byombi ati ntabo byolose kumenya icyo yakoze birasesheze ariko ne kibazo kya gender hari abantu hano bataze bibazo bya gender nti biri mutuntu hali atuto ule kibazo omukobwa arahendo akachibwa desa yagiye kwicaza omugabo akatangiza no kwehagalika so ebi byakemuse abali abantu badodo barakoza amatwale noneho haliho bakoza akaligole kabagole akantu kakaligole aliyicaza akatangizana noneho ekindi na mukome masi eki kibazo nakimuyobolere abandi mugende bakopereyo bakola obuligole nukuvuga bagabanye ebisiro izana na desa tumenya hezana na desa noneho ekindi kyakemusi olazi nti obungo noneho mulazi hano omuji wa Kigali tufite ekibazo ky'abantu bali mu kaunda y'obudehe ali mu kiciro kyo mutindi cyangwa sinze okoba bita aliko kiri ekiciro kya atafite n'amafaranga yokulya noneho avuye Kalonji ageze hano mu muji para mwaka desa kweli yokukolesa bwiherero leta negome emenye kugira tuteze mbere suku babahe byemezo bibaranga ndi oyu muntu ntabo yisobuye akoleso tuwaleta tisuye sivyo minister ali aha abantu niba tubasize mu budehe tubahe na public services for free ndabesa kubera hali nakozo obusakasasi bwanyeretse ko abantu bensi muji wa Kigali kugira babona obwerero bwobusa kubera atafita amafaranga alagenda mu corporations akajya nko mu banka akakolesa obwerero nona amabanka nayo yabimenye kugira okolesa obwerero lerekana bulidiro so tuba ko bwerero buhagize tumenye nti tweseza akasiro nk'Abanyarwanda kandi tweteze imbere ekini nagira mbabwire ICT kambaho buhamya ku kintu kya ICT nakoze comedy how people abuse ICT facilities. Actually when ICT becomes a challenge it is better than to have a manual work than ICT. Sometimes nkolujero nkalama banka na amagalaga nkambasada nkamagalalo call center mulazizi alo ni bosa kolezi Kinyarwanda kandalimwe for English place 2 for French pour français press 2 for Swahili don't place and then you press 1 nibo saka ebya ATM kanda limwe nibo saka enguzanyo kanda kabiri niba la katabo ka ATM kanda katatu nibo limi ndo sobanuza tanganda kanda kabiri niba lenguzanyo city salary kanda limwe niba lenguzanyo yokubaka kanda kabiri nkakanda limwe niba ofite hagati y'imyaka 10 na 30 kanda limwe niba oli omunyarwanda kanda limwe niba oli omunyamanga kanda kabiri niba okoleseranga mundu kanda limwe okakomeza kutyo none okaza kugira hano nti niba osaka kusubira aho vuye kanda limwe obuntu na ICT mbu mu Rwanda mu turaba hatali ariko hala abantu bayikoleza nabi foswa call center agumi kuba alimu omuntu fizike asobola n'okumenya nti ndakolesa ekinyarwanda kuki sirio mukome mu masi leero. N'ekyo kibazo tugenda okaleba omukosomateri nkamala eminota 30 ndikuli niba okolesa ndageza ali fite ebinsi by'okukola. So mulebe haliya mu mabanka mulebe mu matelecom kugira obone service kugira akyosaka hahandi biratwala omwanya. Halina abakubwira leero amaze kumva kutwala eminota 30 yose niba akaja nti amasaha yakazi yalanje nti tukola kuwambire kugeza ku wakatano. Olwo olugero lumwe aho ICT eri abused mu byukuli kambabwire kinti tufite University of High Learning what in Rwanda ariko it's a pity kuona national universities you graduate today you spend 6 months without getting your degree certificate, and this is a country led by ICT. You need to do your exams, your marks are recorded in a computer. By the time you're out of the university, they print out, it's just a certificate. And then I get my degree, I apply for my job. I went there, it's a project. It's not just schooling, it's a project. Haliko kasanga, to whom it may concern. Did I come for to whom's? No. Use ICT to develop this country, please. There are so much facility, there are a lot, and people just abuse it. Nalisuye otankopa service nisula minevali zose bundo lananyiruka na mpaka nyabonye none olankopa tuhumu kama agenda ozazi ogaluke none you see there are times when you find people are graduating, they have gowns on their head, they don't have a certificate, and even they call officials to make that celebration official, and then those guys just go without a certificate. Please graduate with students getting certificates as is at that. Ebyo nabyo kwere utundu tuto ariko tukavuga ndi amikolo ebichi. ICT is a blessing. Jewe ndabaho buhamya. There was a time I went to India and I was trying to drive in India, in Delhi, and there was these GPS. I couldn't use GPS, and then I was trying to ask for directions. Manual with the mouse. Can you show me? And you know English in India. Then I met a young guy. He was like 18 and said, can you direct me where the mosque school, the Muslim school? He told me, I don't know. Then I went after like making some meters away, and then I heard this guy whistling, come back. When I came, he said, I was trying to ask my fellow here. This is my friend called Singh. He's coming from northern India, but he doesn't speak English. But according to the language he's speaking, he's telling me that he also don't know. So he calls you back, and he has not found the direction. But he's just transferring a feedback from his friend. That he doesn't know, you see? And Indians are very smart for if you are driving, you meet an Indian, you ask for direction, you know everything, they count, and they are financially very literate. So when you meet an Indian, like when he wants a lift, he will say, you want a mosque school? It is very near, it is very easy to find. Just take me inside, I'm going to show you. Then you reach where he wanted to go. He just takes you to his way. And after reaching, like, he can find it. Do you see this tree? This tree, memorize where you see it. It is going to help you. Then you just pass that, and then you go where he's going. Then after reaching his destination, he tell you, do you remember the other tree? It is where the school is. You go back. So that's how I struggled in India, just because I couldn't use ICT facilities. So ICT is a big solution. It's a big blessing to Rwanda. So katwesubire mu byaba consumative katuvuge ku bagole. Mwalimuzi nti mwe babako bamwisha ihano. Kyera kugira nti mubase kujjaho na embalaga n'obwitanje bwaba mama batubyala. Baze ndibuka ichena nakane nashise hano. RDB nti yale hali nti la registering. Ntano muntu wa registering company. Ahubwo ba registeringaga amasiramu y'abagole kusa. amasinamu y'abagole n'alayabaze nakoze obusaka yali 211 mu kwere 94 kugeza mu 2000. Amasinamu nga tumulere tumukuze mwichaze muhaguluse muterula hagalala avega akahozo mulaza amasinamu yose hari no tufite women for women network, UN women. There's a lot of things that women did to make sure they have this platform on which you're using to broadcast your ICT technology and so forth. So tulaleba nti abagole bafitaho bavuyi bafitaho bagezi aliko mwalimuzi nti abagole balakyafite ebibazo. Heri Nyaruguru haliyo omugole yasezeranye n'omugabo. Mulazi amategeko yacu y'okusezerana ala complice kubulyo bakubwira nti kugira otandukane n'omuntu nti mpaka olufu. Omuntu alalahira ati jewe rugambo anza atandukana n'omugole wanje ati mpaka olufu. None heriya mu kyalo batazi ku interpreting amategeko omuntu alaza akavuga ati ndasaba obutane bati olasaka okutana ati sintabo wibuke by'omwasezeranye. Onda ati okay mwavuze ko muzabana mpaka olufu. Omugabo akavuga ati nibali byatikangaluke. Akaza avuga ati bya bintu nabirangiza ati sebiki ati namwisi. So tukavuga kugira otandukane n'omugole mu Rwanda n'okumwafa. So ibi bintu tulabyamagana mu izina lya Yesu tulagira nti abagole bagira obulinga muhanda bungana n'obw'abagabo kandi hatali mu n'olufu. Omukomedian taja asezera obonda tasi mane baba mukisa.
Arakoze Ambassador wa Consumateur. Thank you very much for that very hilarious presentation. As we close the event, I would like to first invite all the girls in ICT to come up front so that everyone can acknowledge your efforts, acknowledge all the time you put and energy into planning for this event. Girls in ICT, I know you're not shy, so I don't know what's happening. So these are the ladies who are behind this event. Beauty and Brains. Another round of applause, please. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. You may go back to your seats. As I was listening to the ambassador of consumers, I had this idea come to my mind. And of course, Honorable Minister, it's up to you to take it on. But I was thinking, what if you challenged one of our leaders, one of our ministers or PSs, to learn how to code? So they say in the year 2015, they will learn how to code, and they will show us in whatever forum what they have coded. I think that would be quite interesting, and it would inspire everyone to remember what Aminata said, that it's never too late, and we should always keep trying. So as we draw to the close of the event, I would like to invite Patrick Nyirishema, who is a DG of Rura, to give a note of thanks on behalf of the judges. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Aline. I'll make it very brief. First, I'd like to congratulate girls in ICT for putting together such a great event. Can we clap for them one more time? On behalf of my fellow judges, I'd like to turn and address the finalists and say three things. The first one is you are all outstanding. Truly, truly outstanding. The second thing is, in any competition, of course, we have to score. You might not score, of course, you not score the same, but I want to tell you that you are all winners. You are all winners. And as some of my colleagues said earlier, it's been very difficult to score you. But regardless of how well you score, I just wanted to tell you that you are all winners. Number three, in the past they used to say that the sky is the limit, but I like to tell you that the sky is no longer the limit. The only limit you have is your imagination. So your imagination is the only limit you have. The great ideas that you have shared, let them not stop at being ideas. Try and pursue them to the next level. I happen to be one of the people who have been given opportunity to serve in the ICT sector. And I think we're all here to support you and help you go to the next level. So without being very specific, I'd like to say that as DG of Rura, I would like to pledge that if any of you pursues your ideas beyond the stage where they are, I'll be happy to support you. And that's why I asked. That's why one of the questions asked earlier was how big your dream is. If you really want to pursue this beyond being a competition for Miss Geek 2015, I would personally like to contribute, and along with many other people here, I'm sure, to contribute to help you realize your dream and take this beyond being an idea to impacting not only our country, but beyond the continent, and who knows, maybe the world. On that note, I'd like to hand over the microphone to the MC. And once again, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Patrick, and thank you very much to our judges for your efforts. As we close the event, I would like to invite Paula Ngabire. Paula is the head of RDBIT. She is going to walk us through what went into judging, and lastly, walk us through who the actual winner is. So who is our Miss Geek Rwanda 2015? On that note, I would like to welcome you, Paula. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aline. I know this is the part that everyone has been waiting for, and I'll not emphasize the difficulty that judges had to go through to select a winner, and that goes to say that you're all winners. Before I take you through the main criteria that was used in selecting a winner, I'd like for us to recognize the recipient of the People's Choice of Awards. This is the category, the solution that received the majority of votes from the public. And before I announce who it is, I would like to call Diana Gitera, the Deputy Director General of Imbuto Foundation, to reward the recipient of the People's Choice of Awards with a certificate. And this goes to Maxi Online Lab. So the criteria that was used in selecting the winners for this competition, we had 5 on a scale of 1 to 5. The first was novelty, which was looking at the innovativeness of the solution. I'll just go ahead and you'll see that come up. And the second was utility, whether the solution was able to address the problem statement. The third was accessibility, the technology used, whether it's technology open or specific to one platform. The fourth was feasibility, which was looking at if it can realistically be implemented in Rwanda and if it addresses the local context. So since technology has failed us, we'll have to... So the last one was presentation, but we'll not show, when that comes on later I'll show it, but we'll probably not show that graph. And I'd like to so I'm going to be announcing the second runner-up, and I'd like to ask the permanent secretary from the Ministry of Youth and ICT to come forward, and I also I'd like to ask Lucy Mbabazi as well to come, as the two will be rewarding the second runner-up for this competition. The second runner-up will be receiving a cash prize equivalent to 500,000 Rwandan francs, a laptop courtesy of the Ministry of Youth and ICT, a BlackBerry, and a Huawei tablet. and they'll also be receiving an internship opportunity through NatCom. Our second runner-up is Rwanda Educate App. Congratulations, Vanina Omutoni. Thank you, Rosemary. I'd like to ask the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion, Mrs. Umulisa Ahiet. Our first runner-up is also going to be receiving a cash prize equivalent to 1 million Rwandan francs, courtesy of UNDP, a laptop, courtesy of my ICT, a BlackBerry, courtesy of Rwanda, and a Huawei tablet as well. And our second runner-up, our first runner-up is, anyone wants to guess? Maxi Online Lab. Congratulations, Stella. Thank you, Henriette. I would like, before we announce the winner, I'd like to recognize Rwanda for the Blackberries that they offered the winners and all the contestants. My ICT for the laptops, Air Clerk for a Surface tablet that will go to the winner, Tigo for the Huawei tablets, as well as UNDP that offered us the cash prizes that our contestants are getting. Now, the moment. Honorable Minister, will you please come and join Lucy? The winner for Miss Geek Rwanda 2015 will be receiving a cash prize equivalent to 2 million Rwandan francs, an internship opportunity with Air Clerk. This is a software company that deals in automatic fare collection. They're receiving 2 tablets, a Surface tablet and a Huawei tablet, and they will be receiving a BlackBerry, and they will be sponsored to attend one of the leading technology conferences that happen globally, and it will be their choice. So, Miss Geek Rwanda 2015 goes to Rwanda Online Open School. Congratulations, Vanessa. like we said at the beginning, all the ladies at the front are all winners. And I'd like to call Crystal Rujeje, the Director of Business and Strategy from CMU, to recognize and reward the two contestants, the remaining two contestants that have been part of this journey. Oda and Ines, please join us here. As Oda and Ines come, they're also going to be benefiting from training and internship from NATCOM. They are also getting a laptop, BlackBerry, and a Huawei tablet. Congratulations, ladies. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome the Honorable Minister of Youth and ICT to offer his closing remarks. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here tonight. And I'd like to start by congratulating the winners. Another round of applause. And the winners tonight are not just Vanina and Vanessa and the 5 winners we see here in front of us. But I'd like to also offer a thought to all the contestants from the beginning. Tonight, Rwanda is the real winner. When Lucy took the stage in her opening remarks, she had to shed a few drops of tears. And when she did so, I felt I was doing the same. Ariko nkuko mubizi mu Kinyarwanda amarira y'umugabo atemba ajya mu nda. So my drops of tears have already reached my stomach. For making the work of translation easy to those who are translating. But I'd also like to thank all the dignitaries who have joined us this afternoon, all the guests and all participants who've traveled to this place. One thing that is very clear, I was at the Miss Geek first edition that took place in Lemigo 1 year ago. For those who were with me at that time, there is one thing that is very clear. The quality of projects, the quality of contestants has nothing to do. This year has nothing to do with last year. So, this event, this program, this activity is growing from strength to strength. And I can't just imagine where we'll be next year. And to Lucy, I'd like to offer a thought that was shared by the PS. Where are you? Sitting. Where is Lucy? Ah, okay. I have a word from the PS for you, and from me as well. God has an objective for your pain, a motive for your struggle, and a gift for your faithfulness. Don't give up. The same applies to all the girls, whether girls in ICT and all the contestants tonight. God has an objective for you, has an objective for your pain, a motive for your struggle, a gift for your faithfulness. Don't give up. Now, Ambassador wa Consomateri nawe. Ubutumwa bwawe twabwakiriye kandi tuzagutumikira. Cyane cyane urebana n'ukuntu ICT is used but also abused. That one, it's on us to fix. And also for the PSs, that was Aline challenge, that they should come up and show a solution next year that they have coded themselves. But I offer to be a mentor because I'm also a graduate in software engineering and business. So I will mentor you. So I promise we will see a solution from these two PSs here. So every one of these contestants, I was surprised to see how experts, I don't know how to express this, but the way you express yourselves, the confidence, the eloquence, is just beyond anything that you would expect from a 15-year-old. You all started with a story. I also have a story that I like that inspires me personally. It's a story. I will tell the story in both English and Kinyarwanda. Ni inkuru y'umushumba. Na sakabaka cyangwa icyanira. You know, the original story is in English. So it's an eagle and a chicken and a hunter. Nuko umushumba namwise hunter namwise umushumba. So this hunter was in a forest. And then it rained. He found shelter under a tree. And then he saw a little chick, umushkwi. And then since he had not been able to catch anything and he had to go home, so he took the chick with no intention to kill it or eat it because he had a chicken farm. So he took that chick and he went and put it among the other chicks at home. And you know, when chicks are growing up, they have to be always protected by these eagles. Sakabaka or ducha, because eagles can sometimes, eat chicks. So they would go out, look in the sky, look at the big eagle, but then when the eagle start plunging, their mom protects them and bring them into a shelter. They kept growing up. When they reached an age where the eagle could not take them, they went out and started exploring the world and looked again at the sky and saw the big eagle. So one chick among the many chicks, looked at how high the eagle was flying, having fun, doing all the acrobatic turns in the air, and then proposed an idea to the other chicken that why don't we also fly? It's more fun to fly than to walk. But the chicken said, but we can't, we are chicken, we are not eagles. But the other one was not convinced. First day, second day, third day, he says, no, let me fly. So it gathered all the strength and courage and jumped, used the wings and kept going up and up and up until the time it reached the height of the eagle. It didn't fall down. And then realized that actually it was not a chick. It was an eagle that was being raised among chicken. So that story inspires me so much because I believe that in every one of us there is an eagle just waiting to be unleashed. You are not chicken, you are eagles. What it takes is just for you to believe in it, for you to try and make that jump. And maybe you are going to fly and discover the ego that has been hiding in you all this time. There are 3 lessons I'd like to take from this story. One is eagles fly. They are very high up in the sky. The territory that they can see, a chicken can never see. So the amount of opportunity that is available to the eagle is much bigger than the amount of opportunity available to the chicken. In Kinyarwanda, I would say, Nukuba ahirenge. Eagle iri ahirenge. So I believe, and I'd like you to share the same belief with me, that this country offers to young people, especially girls, a limitless amount of opportunities that are just waiting to be unleashed. And the contestants tonight have shown us that those possibilities can in fact be harnessed and unleashed. Congratulations again. Those opportunities range from access to education for all, healthcare for all, security, inclusive governance, economic opportunities in so many sectors across so many geographic areas of our country, whether you talk about telecommunication, whether you talk about banking, tourism, education as a business, like the ones in front of us are going to do their businesses in education, but also things like agriculture, the different trades that we learn in our technical and vocational training schools, the amount of opportunities available to our young girls in our country is just limitless. The second thought, but kuba hirengeye, amahirwe kugira ngo yabone ugomba kuba uri ahirengeye. That's what it means. The second, an eagle from the height that it is looking below, it can see everything. Today, technology can allow us to look at the entire globe, the entire universe. So building on the platform that was built, as the ambassador of consumers has said, that all these programs, policies have contributed to put up a platform from which these ladies stand. When you add the power of technology and internet, you are actually at a height where you can see the entire globe from. So the opportunities are not only the ones that I've talked about in our country, but the opportunities that are available in the whole world. But mind this one. As much as you can stand high and tall and look at everyone, you need to remember that everyone is also looking at you. So your parents, the government, the environment that you've been able to take advantage of, all those people who have suffered and sweated for you to be where you are today, they are also looking at you. Opportunities, but also expectations. You need to understand that there is a responsibility when you take up an opportunity, that you owe something back to the community that has made that opportunity available to you. So as you grow up, the question in your mind shouldn't be what my country should do for me, but what you should do for your country. But the country will also keep supporting you until your dream is realized. Thirdly, the eagle that is flying high, for it to make sense of the amount of opportunities that is available on the ground, it has to make a selection. Really, the range of choices is very wide. You can't take everything at a time. You need to focus. So what the eagle does is focus on a specific opportunity and go for it very swiftly. Mu Kinyarwanda byita guhorera. When an opportunity has been spotted, selected among the other so many opportunities, then it's an issue of precision and speed. So, what it tells me is, first of all, you need to have a goal. You need to have a purpose. And the goal actually comes from a dream. So you need to dream something. And from the dream, when you wake up, the first thing you need to do is to share the dream. A dream that is not shared will never translate into a vision, then later a goal. You may share it with just one person, with your parents, with your classroom, with the community. Then from the dream you get to a vision. And then from the vision you get to a goal. By the way, I believe that this is how the 2020 vision came about. I think it must have started as a dream in the mind of His Excellency, the President. And when you wake up, who do you share the dream with? The person who's probably next to you. And then you share the dream with an entire country. And then the dream is shared with everyone, even those beyond our country. It becomes a vision. And the remaining, as said, is the speed at which you move towards the goal. And I think tonight we are witnessing that the speed at which we are moving to our dream is indeed very, very high. But also, there is a word of caution that for you to reach your dream, it doesn't only take the dream itself, the sharing of the dream. You need to really work for that dream. You need to gather that speed, that strength. And the way you gather it is you need to work hard in your studies. Let me switch to Kinyarwanda. Mugomba kwiga, mugashyiramo umwete mu kwiga. Is the dreams of these solutions for Rwanda and the world to see them. A lot of work needs to be into those projects. A lot of expertise. It will take nights and days of coding, months, probably even years for some of these solutions to see the day. Expertise. So don't tire. Aim at being, the best IT business analysts, programmers, project managers, testers. None of this is going to be done by one person. All those are competencies that are going to take to translate those solutions, those dreams into world-class solutions. Icya kabiri ni ukwirinda. Hari byinshi bishobora gusitaza abana b'abakobwa ku isi yose, mu Rwanda, aho mutuye, ku ishuri no ku internet itself. Ugomba kwirinda, ukamenya icyo ushaka, ukamenya ya ntego yawe, ukirinda inda zitateganyijwe, ukirinda indwara zandura mu mibonano mpuzabitsina, ukirinda ibiyobyabwenge, ukirinda gupfusha ubusa umwanya wawe. Hari byinshi ugomba kwirinda kugira ngo uzagere kuri ya ntego yawe. Ikindi ni gukora neza icyo ukoze cyose. Ntabwo ari gukoresha ingufu gusa, gukora amasaha menshi. It's work hard but also work smart. Hari ugutinyuka. Be confident. I think the contestants tonight have shown us that it's possible. Kwitinyuka. Ukajya imbere y'abantu, ukavuga, ukagaragaza igitekerezo cyawe, kandi ukemera mu mutima wawe ko bishoboka. In fact, byashoboka ukibona icyo kintu cyarangiye. Ntubone cyakunaniye. When you close your eyes, you need to see yourself achieving that success on that day when you take the podium. I'm sure all the winners had dreamt of that this day. You cannot achieve something that you cannot be able to dream. Hari ugushakashaka, kugira amatsiko. Always be innovative. Umuco wacu wa kera mu Rwanda bitarahinduka, tutarabona ya podium duhagazeho, it was not encouraged for young girls to be curious, to explore. Ariko ngubu byarahindutse. Be curious. Be thirsty and hungry of knowledge. Discover things, discover people, make new friends, network. It's going to help you a lot in your career. Kubana n'abantu neza, kwicisha bugufi, humility. Very, very important. So, let me stop here with the advice that I wanted to offer to the winners, but also all the contestants and generally all the girls in ICT in this country. I'd like to recognize that if that eagle hadn't been picked from that forest by somebody, by the hunter, it would probably have died there of loneliness, of cold, of hunger. So I'd like to offer a thought also and a vote of thanks to everyone in this country who's contributed to building this fantastic platform upon which the girls in ICT in our country stand on tonight. Mubampere amashyi. The parents, ababyeyi bose mu gihugu cyacu barera abana babo neza, kandi dushishikariza n'abandi babyeyi bose batwumva uyu munsi gutera ingabo mu bitugu abana banyu, mubareke bagire indoto nziza kandi mubafashe kugira ngo bazagere ku ndoto zabo. I'm sure none of these winners hasn't had the support of their parents to get where they are tonight. Ariko by'umwihariko hari ababyeyi b'ikirenga nagiraga ngo dushimire. Wa mbere ni nyakubahwa First Lady, umuyobozi w'Imbuto Foundation, na nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, for really being the role models for all the young people of this country and for making Rwanda the best place to be born as a girl in the world. I want to assure all these contestants and others that we will support you, make sure that your dreams become reality. We will help you opening every door that you need open to get where you want to arrive. I'd like to let you know that the Minister of Youth and ICT, after finalizing our next 5-year plan, we realized that something was missing. You know, gender has always been considered as something that cut across everything. So when we build our plan, we put efforts in making access affordable, and it's of course affordable to both men and women. We work to make sure that skills are delivered to the population, but it's both to men and women. We work to support innovation of both boys and girls. But we realize that to be able to fill the gap that history has created, the numbers that we've seen here tonight that show how big is the gap between women in technology and boys, we've decided to make a separate pillar in our 5-year strategy on gender empowerment and mainstreaming in technology, and we call it GemTech. We just agreed with the PS from IGEPROF and my ICT that the next thing that we want to do is to do a specific strategy for that one pillar, the GemTech pillar in our 5-year strategy, so that we can set up the targets, the indicators, and define the resources that we need to really close that gap. It may not take only 5 years, but we are poised to work tirelessly to close that gap. Our challenge is Rwanda should not be only recognized for having the biggest number of girls, of women in parliament, but it should also be recognized for having the highest number of girls and women in technology in the years to come. So thank you, everyone. Thanks to all the sponsors. I won't be able to name them all, but thank you very much, girls in ICT, and see you next year in a bigger and better event. Thank you so much.
Another round of applause for the Minister of ICT. As I am the only one standing between you and your refreshments, I would just like to once again thank the contestants and congratulations. I really hope that all your solutions can actually come into existence, into being. I would also like to thank our judges. Thank you very much for your time. It seems, yes.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. It's just that I have an information. I'm shamelessly plugging something that Imbuto Foundation is doing in connection with this. We are launching in June a partnership with a US organization called Library for All, and it's about access to an online library. So I thought that this would be really interesting for you to know, And for all the different students and youth in this room, I want you to know it. I want you to stay tuned to Imbuto Foundation. You can start starting in the second part of May. Please check our websites, but we will also try to make the information available through SMSs. I'm really sorry.
No worries.
But
Thank you very much.
Really appropriate.
Thank you very much, Imbuto Foundation, and thank you to our partners, Imbuto, the ministry, RDB, for supporting girls in ICT. I would also like to thank the girls. I thanked the judges, Minister. Once again, I would like to thank the judges for helping us with this event. I would also like to recognize the men who came to support our women efforts today. Thank you very much for your support. We are not blind to that fact. I would like to thank the sponsors. If I've forgotten anyone, just know that Girls in ICT is very grateful for your support. Now, Girls in ICT has a website, girlsinict.rw. So for all the pictures that are taken today at the photo booth, feel free to go and check starting tomorrow to find a picture of yourself. I would like to thank Richter for sponsoring the website, for allowing us to host it for free. And before I close, I'd just like to ask that the judges, the contestants, our honorable guests, and the girls in ICT stay behind for the photo session. And on that note, allow me to officially close Miss Geek Rwanda 2015. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you very much. There are refreshments outside, and remember to keep taking pictures. Thank you very much.